All right, guys, welcome back to the Walleye Files. Thank you for being here. I hope this episode of the Walleye Files finds you well, and I am super excited. We've got a National Walleye Tour Championship in my backyard in Marinette, Wisconsin on the Bay of Green Bay, and this field is freaking stacked. You have possibly the best lineup of anglers you will ever see in a National Walleye Tour event on the Bay of Green Bay in a 40-bone championship. And I didn't think about that before. You always have great anglers. These guys will always be out there to take your lunch money. But I started doing some stats, guys, and holy crap, do we have some absolute studs in the mix here. Before we go any further, I do want to say thank you to our sponsors, because without our sponsors, we couldn't do this. Lake Effect Lures, Thunderhook Fly-Ins, Striker Brands, Walleye Nation Creations, and Bellevue Spice Company. Without those companies, we could not do what we do here at the Walleye Files. I could not produce these videos or this content. So give them a like, give them a follow, check out their websites, and just thank you to those amazing companies. This episode of the Walleye Files is brought to you by Thunderhook Fly-Ins, the premium fly-in fishing destination in Ontario, Canada. Trophy walleyes, giant pike, and remote wilderness adventures await. Book your trip now at thunderhook.com. Moving into the National Walleye Tour Championship. The bite is really good on the Bay of Green Bay. We've had some funky weather. I woke up this morning. It is the 26th when I'm recording this. It was 45 degrees when I left my house for work this morning. We've had a bit of an abnormal weather system coming through, just a little bit cooler than normal. I don't think that's going to matter too much. I think the bite's still going to be pretty good. That water's going to hover around the 70 to 71 degree mark. And as long as the wind doesn't have to play a huge factor, you could see some giant bags in this tournament. My personal belief is that the winner of this tournament is going to need 112 to 115 pounds. That's right around 36 to 37 pounds a day for 2 days of the tournament, and then somebody's going to crack 40 to 42 pounds for another day. But that consistent 37 to 30, 36 to 38 pound range is going to be the guy that wins this tournament. And the guy that does win this tournament is going to be the one that finds the best class of fish. Now, that does not mean he's going to catch 15, 30 inchers. That means he's going to find the heaviest fish in the system. Now, you're looking at me as like, Brandon, the guy that wins the tournament is always going to have the heaviest bag, and that is definitely true. That is definitely true. But what I mean is there are different areas and different age classes and size classes of fish on this body of water. You could be on Larson's Reef catching 25 inchers that are 5.1 pounds. You can be on Green Island catching 25 inchers that are 5.4 pounds. And you can be Death's Door, Chambers, or Cedar River and catch fish that are a 25-inch fish that's 5.9 pounds or 6 pounds. That extra pound or extra 3/4 of a pound over 3 days could make the difference of this tournament. Some stats for you guys, because I'm a bit of a stats nerd when it comes to fishing tournaments. Not John Bala. That guy's amazing. John, if you're listening, maybe you could throw some stats in the comments. But we have a combined 27 wins on the National Walleye Tour between the 40 anglers in this field. We have combined 7 Angler of the Year titles. What does that tell you? It tells me that we have the best of the best on this body of water and on the national tour itself, fishing in this tournament, which is normal, right? This is the championship. This is what these guys have fought for all year long. We've got a couple of guys that are relatively new to the circuit. We've got guys like David Hoisington that, that just, hey, we won a tournament. We're in the championship. Super excited. Andy Travis, guys that have never fished the national tour for the whole season or just have never fished it, that have made the championship. Congratulations to those guys. But I'm telling you, we've got some hammers. And I've got a list of guys that have won on the National Walleye Tour. There are 12 guys in this derby that have won a National Walleye Tour event. And I'm telling you right now, they're really freaking good. Every one of them. You've got a combined 6 wins on the Bay of Green Bay between 4 anglers. And it is not a coincidence that most of those anglers are written down on the guys that can get a W portion of this segment. We'll talk about that a little later. Our Angler of the Year race, it's not as hot as you'd want it to be if you're excited about fishing tournaments and about a competitive, finish of the season. Dwayne Chelm's got 781 points. He is 23 points above Kevin McCoy. If you are not familiar with the way point systems work in professional fishing, Kevin needs to take a first place finish, and Dwayne Chelm needs to take 24th for Kevin to overtake him in the Angler of the Year race. Of course, below Kevin, you have Austin Tomasek, who's 10 points below him, and Jake Cahy, who's another 10 points below Austin. All great anglers. All great anglers in their own regard. They're great people. But I don't think anybody's taking this away from Dewey. He's got that killer instinct in his DNA. He's like a freaking ninja, and I don't see him losing that Angler of the Year race. He's won one already. He's won an Angler of the Year in 2022, and I think he's about to slam the door on his second one. This episode of the Walleye Files is brought to you by Lake Effect Lures, the tackle that turns every cast into a catch. Built for serious anglers, tested on real fish, and proven to get bites when nothing else will. Get yours at lakeeffectlures.com. So, tactics for this tournament that I see playing. There are guys that probably want to troll a little bit in this tournament. I would say there's 40 guys, 37 of them are probably going to be looking at a screen doing some scoping. But if a guy was to troll in this tournament, I'd be pulling spinners or probably reef runners on some shallow structure. I really like windblown shallow structure with reef runners or flicker minnows. But personally, my favorite way to troll up here on the Bay of Green Bay is spinners with 1 ounce inlines. That's what I'd be pulling. 1 mile an hour, 1.1, 1.2. Read the current. Gold, purple, white, green. Your basic colors for walleyes. It's not rocket science, but the one thing that it does allow you to do is to put 4 lines in the water at a time if you're fishing this tournament. And if you're scoping, death jigs, of course, by Walleye Nation Creations, jig and a crawler, shiver minnows, jigs and plastics, or even a spoon, like a Bink spoon does really well this time of year. And the walleyes love it. The walleyes love them. So that's what I see for tactics in this tournament. Nothing crazy. I don't see anything super wild. Guys won't be pulling, lead. Shouldn't be pulling lead core or just doing something super out of the ordinary. I think the guy that does the simple technique the best and just stays on the best class of fish is going to be the one that wins this tournament. We talked about previous winners on the Bay of Green Bay. You've got 4 of them in this tournament. Dwayne Chelm, who won in 2022. Eric McCoy won last year. Corey Springles won 3 times, most recently in 2020 when he kicked my tail and stole my lunch money. And John Hoyer, who won, I believe, in 2019. Yep, 2019. So you got 4 guys who have won on the Bay of Green Bay before. 6 titles between the 4 of them, Corey with 3 of them. And I don't believe, other than last year's tournament, Corey's ever finished lower than 17th on the Bay of Green Bay. Corey had a rough event last year. It's a June event. We all had rough events for the most part. So I could see some redemption there. A little teaser into our guys that can win. I wrote a little note here on my notes that says guys who elevate in championships. These are 3 guys that have all had multiple really good championships in their careers. Dwayne Chelm, of course, he has finished high in championships before. He's leading Angler of the Year. It'd be silly not to have him on this list. John Hoyer's won multiple championships, and another guy who's won multiple championships is Jason Shakira. Jason loves championships. He said it in his interview in 2020 when he won on Lake Erie. I love fishing championships, and I could see him doing well in this tournament. He's relatively local, lives 2 hours or less from the bay, probably less, probably an hour and a half. And he's a great big water fisherman. So I look for Jason to have a really nice event. I could see him in a top 10 scenario, top 15, cashing a check. It's exciting. It's an exciting event for the area, for the Bay of Green Bay. We just got done with the AIM Championship. Congrats to Isaac Lockich, who definitely is going to be in my guys who can win category, I think. Congrats to Isaac. Eric McCoy took second. So you've got 2 of your hammers right there that I think as long as the weather holds out, we're going to see some fireworks, guys. This episode of the Walleye Files is brought to you by Striker Brands, built to keep you warm, dry, and fishing longer. From ice to open water, their gear handles whatever Mother Nature throws at you. Find yours at strikerbrands.com. Go early, go late, and go prepared. All right, so this is my favorite segment. This is our last little recap piece here. Guys who can win, who can take home a W, who's bringing home $100,000. And it starts off with Isaac Lockett. He has won a tournament this year already out of Alpena just last month. And he wins everywhere he goes. He's just super solid. Isaac's always been a good dude to me. I really like him. And I really think he's going to win this tournament. That's my pick. That is my pick. I think Isaac's winning this derby. Like I said, he just won the AIM championship. He fishes a lot. He spends a lot of time guiding. He spends a lot of time on the Bay of Green Bay graphing, and he's just really solid. Other guys that I have that could definitely pull off a win. We've got Max Wilson, who spends an incredible amount of time on the Bay of Green Bay. He always does well here. He's won club events that I fished in. He's just, man, he's a fishy dude. He fishes a lot. He spends a lot of time on the water. He works really hard at what he does. And I could see him doing really well in this tournament. Corey Springle, of course, 3 wins on the National Walleye Tour on the Bay of Green Bay. He's got an FLW win. I believe he's got a National Team Championship win and a second place finish on the Bay of Green Bay. I don't see that going away. I'd say a top 10 is definitely the expectation for Corey Springle. And of course, your Angler of the Year leader, Dwayne Chum. He won on the Bay in 2022, running up to Beta Knock, I believe, throwing Rapala jig and wraps. I could see him doing that again. Dude's got a killer instinct and he's really good, and he's going to win Angler of the Year. So you might as well just send it and try to hit a home run and win the championship. It's going to be an interesting one. I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know who you think's going to win in the comments. I want to know who you guys think is going to pull off a W on the National Walleye Tour Championship on Marinette. Thanks, guys, for watching.